Story 1, probably when I was a child. Both parents were still alive. No bills and not a care in the world. Now I am a man of 48. Story 2. Last Sunday, I was hiking alone in the woods with earbuds in, at peace with myself and the world. Story 3, probably Christmas 2021. Party at my sister's and brother-in-law's. About 30 people turned up. All of us went home completely wasted that night because we drank mimosas loaded with vodka and wine. Probably the last time I was truly happy. My sister and I do not talk to each other now. Story 4. I still remember that time after the evening self-study in junior high school. I rode my bicycle home, the bright moonlight shining on my head. The air was clear and the surroundings were quiet. I was thinking about the novels and comics I had not finished reading, and my heart was full of joy. Those were the most carefree and pure days of my life. Story 5. When I held my ex, knowing all the work I was doing was for us. Then she left. Now I just do some things. Story 6. This morning, my husband and kids are pretty awesome. I live where I can walk to everything or take a train to the city or a ferry to go somewhere else. Take a tour, go see a whale. Grab an ice cream, a bourbon, a lobster roll, or see a show by picking any street near me and walking there. There's a river, a beach, a harbor, a nature conservancy, a rail trail, a boardwalk, and a quaint little downtown. My goofy cats are here in the room. It's not as sunny as I'd like it to be today, but I just ate pancakes and sausage my husband made, had coffee I made, and did a ton of work already since I got up at 4:45. My Mother's Day flowers are still going strong. I may have some chocolate later. Life is good. Story 7. When I was 4 stone lighter back in 2021, I hope to get back to that physique at some point this year. Story 8. When my 6-year-old son, who wasn't verbal until almost 5, said, "I love you, Mummy," for the first time. Today, he called me his best mum. I'm his only mum. And that was pretty awesome. Story 9. I felt euphoric last weekend, out on a 7-mile hike in the hills on my own. I do that most weekends and practically do the whole thing grinning. Hopefully, I will be truly happy again this weekend too. Story 10. Seeing my child graduate from college. Before that, I finally went to Disney World. My family went when I was in college, so I could not go. My son went when his uncle's family was visiting the United States. Finally, in my 40s, I got to go. I remember being on that ferry from the parking lot, seeing the castle in the distance. I tried to be manly, but I could not hold back a few tears. Those were events. As a state of being, I think I am having the best time and the highest level of happiness I have ever had. I worked hard to be where I am, and I am finally able to feel as though I deserve it. Story 11. A couple of years ago, I was able to feed myself. Now I cannot, and each day something else is needed. It has been a solid 5 years in poverty, and it is just getting worse. I am sorry to anyone now and in the future. If I ever seem like I am an unkind person, I am not. I just do not have the strength to acknowledge anyone anymore. Story 12. Honestly, I am happy right now. Is everything perfect? No. The world is in turmoil, my body is challenging me, and there is a lot of family drama that I am trying to stay out of. But I am also mentally in a good place. I spent a long time in therapy, and it has paid off. I have found a good balance between staying informed and turning off social media when I start doom scrolling. I have been working hard to develop and maintain a healthier lifestyle. While my weight stubbornly refuses to come down, I feel better, and my lab work is looking fantastic. My children are mostly happy, my relationship with my husband is great, and I am trying to be gentler on myself. I also allow myself to have bad days, which I think is really important. I am not going to be hard on myself for having a day when I just need to sit around and binge watch Disney movies because I feel overwhelmed. Life is not always sunshine and rainbows. It is okay to acknowledge and honor that. So I guess I would say I am truly happy now because I have worked very hard to make sure I am happy. Story 13. When my friends decided to go to a karaoke, I spent the night singing. However, they no longer want to go because it is boring for them. Story 14. Well, happiness is a moment. Comes and goes. I was happy 1 minute ago, laughing at a dumb post. Now I am neutral, reading your question. It is a moment. Story 15. I do not know. I think I occasionally have happy moments, but I am afraid it was long ago when I was truly happy. Story 16. Probably in 2019, I went to San Francisco for my brother's birthday and got a personal computer that year to play games like Gary's Mod. Not gonna lie, 2019 was probably the happiest year of my life, but so far this year has not been all that bad. Story 17. Probably my last Christmas break when I was playing games late at night with just the Christmas lights on in the house. I got a very euphoric feeling. Story 18. My fondest memories are from when I was a kid during winter break or snow days, playing video games while the outside was buried in snow. I miss those times when I had to make an effort to connect with the world before smartphones. I used to read the news, which was mostly articles that generally frustrated me, not to mention a general lack of responsibility. Story 19. Probably around 8 years old. I am 40 now, and I have accepted the possibility that I will never be happy again. Story 20. When Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer used profanity, when I poured out my soul to him after my laptop's video card broke, I felt like he was a real friend who would support me. I cried that night. Story 21. Last week, I spent my birthday in Arizona. I turned all my work notifications off and just relaxed in the pool. I soaked in the sun and truly felt happy and lucky. Story 22. Last night when I was playing badminton, not that I am any good at the moment, but I noticed I am getting better. It is also helping me get out of my own head and overcome a difficult situation. Story 23. Every morning, my dog and I spend a few minutes cuddling on the couch before starting our day. His joy brings me so much happiness. Story 24. At a gig a week ago, I went with a girl I met through a friend who I am more and more into every time we meet. An old friend of mine introduced me to an old friend of hers months ago. We have met a few times at several small themed parties that my old friend was hosting. I casually mentioned I had a spare ticket to a gig. Turns out this girl loves the band playing, so I invited her. We had our first one-on-one hangout, and that, combined with the gig, made me so immensely happy. I want to make a move eventually, but I am acutely aware of two things. First, I have it on my friend's authority that she is a very slow-burning type and has not been with anyone before, so I do not want to risk making a move too soon. Second, we have only met a few times, so if I want to make things work, I want to build a genuine friendship first. We are both around 30, and I think it is going well. At least she is becoming a close friend anyway. But man, take me back to that gig. Story 25. Probably when we had our annual family cabin adventure. Every year we rent a cabin in the woods, and all the direct family members attend. It is always a reminder of what truly matters. Story 26. In my last semester of 8th grade, I had a good boyfriend. I was accepted by his friend group and became a part of them for those few months. At the same time, I was going through a difficult family situation because my father left my mother and me during a psychosis episode. Each time I went to school, all my problems would cease for those few hours. That is when I realized how much little things in life should be valued. I was truly happy that I could forget and stop worrying for at least a little while. Story 27. While I was walking in a park, the wind suddenly blew the flowers from a tree, and they fell upon me, as if nature was trying to make me feel like the main character. Story 28. May of 2021, I was out of a bad relationship. I had just finished rehabbing a condo I purchased and was all moved in. I was dating someone new every few months. Today, I am married, and it seems lately my wife is blaming me for all of our problems. Sometimes I wish there was a time machine and I could go back. But you live and learn. Story 29. Yesterday, it was my sister's high school graduation. We had a rocky relationship in the past, but over the last year we have been closer than ever, even closer than she is with our parents. It meant the world for me to be there. In classic fashion, I was running a little late, and she called me panicking, saying she was about to walk and did not want me to miss it. I raced to the event center, went to the wrong side of the building, sprinted around it, and when I finally walked into the auditorium, she was sitting right in the front row. The school band was playing When the Saints Come Marching In. As she turned her head and saw I had arrived, we were only 15 feet away from each other. The smile on her face was priceless. It was a pure bliss moment. Story 30. I have been told by family members that the last time I was happy was when I was about 7 years old. Since then, happiness has been replaced by momentary relief from depression and anxiety. Story 31. Truly happy? It has been years. I receive fleeting bursts of superficial happiness from activities such as shopping, hiking, playing music, talking with friends, and enjoying a good meal or a glass of beer. Story 32. My last few months of high school, I didn't care anymore. No stress, just being free and happy. I even started getting closer to the girl I had a major crush on. It was blissful. Story 33. Every afternoon yesterday, when I got home from work, I realized that although my job is not bad, everyone has somewhere else they want to be. Story 34. 10 years ago, when I played on my PlayStation 3 for the first time, if I could stay locked in a basement with my friends playing Black Ops or Grand Theft Auto, I would do it. Story 35. Probably when I went for a walk and had a cup of coffee with one of my best friends last weekend. Otherwise, no complaints. Story 36. Right now, I am going to get married soon after losing my husband 4.5 years ago. I went through so much heartache when he died, and I thought I would not find anyone. Story 37. I am doing pretty well for myself now, but the last time was from late November 2023 to the start of February 2024. Story 38. In 1996, my siblings and I had to escape from one side of the United States to the other because of a stepfather. I have not been the same ever since. Story 39. When I thought I was loved, I was not. I was targeted for financial abuse by an offline scammer. Story 40. When I was 18, I worked at a holiday camp. I had friends and no responsibilities. I was really happy, and I miss who I was then. I am 62 now. Story 41. Last night, I was driving with my daughter, and she asked if the younger version of me would like the person I have become. I said I did not know the answer, and she said, I like the person you became. I have been floating on that high ever since. Story 42. When I was in school, studying was the only stress I had to deal with. Life hits you hard when you are 21 and lost. Story 43. About 12 years ago in graduate school, I was doing something I believed in that was challenging, and I thought the future was bright. I graduated and reality came crashing down all at once. Things have improved over the last 12 years and I have a relatively good life, but I still do not feel happy, even though I guess that happiness was an illusion. Story 44, 2021. But I think that was during some kind of manic or hypomanic state, so it is probably doubtful that it counts as truly happy. Before that, I would say childhood. Story 45. About 4 years ago, I was not burned out. Now I have severe depression and anxiety. Death would be a release. Story 46. When I am in the moment with my children, as long as I do not let thoughts of work, health, bills, and stress creep in, I can just enjoy my time with them. Story 47. When my dog was alive, he passed away from bone cancer. It spread from his hind leg to his heart. I pointed it out to my mom early on, but she ignored me. Now my dog is dead. The veterinarian even confirmed this when I told her I saw my dog limping and alerted my mom. I still do not forgive my mom for this. Story 48. Last December I took a month off, went back home, and just played with my child for a month. It was fantastic. Story 49. I have never experienced that. I have chemical imbalances in my brain that unfortunately prevent it. I have felt fleeting, shallow contentment, excitement, or a sort of happiness before, though. Story 50. The other day, I went to my sister-in-law's high school graduation from the same career school my wife and I attended. I never got to have a graduation or say goodbye to my old teachers because of the coronavirus disease, but I was finally able to have closure that day, and I am extremely proud of her too. Story 51. When I was laid off from my last job, I was horrified but had some money saved up. I was relieved to be let go. Story 52. I would say sometime in early 2014. I was engaged, enjoyed my job, and had my cool dog. Life was good. I have neither of those things now, and my job is not enjoyable. I had another long-term partner since then, and that relationship was good, but I still lacked my dog and an enjoyable job, so it did not quite reach the same heights. Story 53, Christmas Eve. I spent the day with my girlfriend, and we kept falling asleep on each other while watching Christmas movies. The calm and peace I felt being in each other's arms was like nothing I have ever experienced. And now, I have not heard from her in over a month. I miss being that happy. Story 54. Went on a Caribbean cruise in February. We did a catamaran excursion in St. Lucia. My son and I sat on the bow. Lots of sun and spray in the face. Happiest I have been in a long time. Story 55. I think it was 1998. Then, in 1999, I had the worst year of my life. Although the disasters of 1999 have not been replicated, my life has never been as good as it was in 1998. Story 56. Last month, I watched my two adult sons, who do not see each other very often, go down some conversation rabbit trails and laugh so hard together. It started with a very random childhood memory and kept going. Happy mother. Story 57. When my sister dunked on an 8.5-foot hoop, she is 5 feet 7 inches tall and loves basketball. She has always wanted to dunk. She is on her school team and recently she dunked. As an older brother, I was really proud of her. I am 6 feet 5 inches tall and can dunk easily, so I had been coaching her on how to dunk. Story 58. A bit over a week ago, I was walking through a bamboo forest in Kyoto, and it was lightly raining. Felt like everything bad in the world faded into silence. Story 59. When I was a child in the 1980s, there were no bills, no responsibilities, and the world was full of possibilities. Story 60. In 2016, before my mom died of cancer, a couple of my friends died from overdose, suicide, drunk drivers hitting them, and a shooting in Detroit for my friend Trey. I'm not completely miserable, but definitely in recovery. Other bad things have happened, but loss at that level is brutal. Sadly, it is part of life. I just try to be there for others and help when I can. Music has kept me going. Story 61. When my best friend was alive. However, I am starting to become happy again thanks to someone being just like him. Story 62. I am not sure anymore. I am not even sure I ever was. I thought I was very recently, but in hindsight, I may have just been lying to myself. Depression and confusion are difficult. Story 63. Before the certain event in 2020 that we are not allowed to discuss due to politics, individuals were misled and exhibited blind faith in what they were told to believe. Especially here with the Only My Point of View Matters group. As if I can only believe what I see, hear, and taste with my own eyes. Story 64. I have not been happy in years. To tell a lie, the previous statement was true until last year when I saw the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Call it silly, but as I watched that movie and felt the nostalgia of my youth, I experienced genuine feelings of happiness and elation that I had not felt in a long time. I have now gone back to being unhappy again. Story 65. I am 61. I have been truly happy for most of my life, despite the difficulties growing up. We were relatively poor. My dad was disabled when I was 5 and became a whiskey-drinking alcoholic. It was a dysfunctional family, to be sure, but I always felt loved and returned that love easily. I love nature, people, crowds, and wilderness. Even after my separation, I could easily find happiness. 12 years ago, my youngest son developed epilepsy at 22 years old. He had the world. A great job as an iron worker, a girlfriend, and lots of friends. Then came an opioid addiction, followed soon by epilepsy. He has lost everything. I have not experienced joy or true happiness since. I am his lifeline, and I now worry about his future. It weighs on my mind. It is what it is. I will be fine. I am an optimist by default, but I worry nonetheless. Have a good day, everyone, and know that there is love in this world. Story 66. This afternoon, I sat in the sun in a recliner in my peaceful, Lovely garden under a parasol. Read a novel, and drank a gin and tonic. Story 67. Maybe around 2018 or 2019, I was a single man making the most money I had ever earned. I was on my own, having intimate relationships with many women. I was smoking the best cannabis I had ever experienced. Life was magical at that point. Story 68. It feels like so long ago, but it had to be before I got bogged down by life responsibilities, stresses, and being dragged into drama. Story 69. Without darkness, there can be no light. Without cold, there can be no warmth. Embrace your feelings, sit with them, breathe them in like a breath of fresh air, because without pain there can be no happiness. Food always tastes best on an empty stomach. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.